Hey divas, welcome back to Women Unleashed, where our inner strength meets unapologetic confidence. My name is Buki, and this is our week 19. Our topic this week is confidence through action. Confidence through action is all about, trusting our inner guidance and then just putting in the work there. Many of us feel that we want to be confident before we take action, but the truth is, it's the opposite. We need to take the first step. We need to move. We need to move and see that we make it or we fail. We pass or we fail. And that's how we begin to build our confidence. Because if you take the first step and you pass, look at children. Many of us have children, or you've taken care of somebody's child. When it gets to the stage when they want to start learning to walk, what happens? With guidance from their parents, the nursery helpers, and the nannies or, childminders. The child takes the first step. It falls. We encourage the child, keep on, you can do it. Take the second step, it falls. We abandon it, we start again the second day. You take the first step, it sees that it's making it. Take the second one, it might be, holding onto the table or something. But you see, by the end of that week, we practice. When that child begins to walk, without falling, without stumbling, without anybody's help, what happens? That child's confidence rises. It is built. And then before you know it, the child wants to be everywhere within the house. The child wants to start exploring other things. The child wants to start saying, maybe I can even increase the step and begin to run. And that's how life is. Those little things that we do, they do add up at the end of the day. Confidence comes when we take that first step, when we take that bold step, when we stand up, and say no to something that is beating us down. When we put the pen on the paper and write, that page, it gives you more, more strength and more clarity for you to keep pushing on. So we don't give up. You need to push yourself. You need to start on. You need to just walk in, move, and you learn. Because when we move, we learn. When we move, we grow. When we move, clarity comes. If we do not move, we do not grow. That is it. Because many of us have been saying you're waiting for the right moment. Sweethearts, I am here to tell you this is the right moment for you to move. This is the right moment for you to move. You need to begin to put the work in. Stop dreaming. Stop procrastinating. Stop waiting till you have it all figured out. Just move and see what happens at the end of the day. Move and your confidence will rise. Move and leave, the rest will follow. I said the moment becomes perfect when you move. So your perfect moment is now. You take the action, take that bold step to submit that page. Take that bold step. We said, if you remember when we talked about in week 13 about stepping out of our comfort zone. You take that bold step, the confidence rises. You do that pitch, you are called back to redo it, the confidence rises. It doesn't mean that we're going to have it all figured out. It doesn't mean that we're going to get it 100%. Don't forget Thomas Anderson about the light bulb. How many times did they try before he got it? But he didn't give up. That is it. And that is what we always say. You need to have a sister in the corner. I'm not saying your brother or your husband, will not be able to help. But sometimes when you have somebody going through the same thing, or that's gone through the same thing that you're going through, it is easy for you to be able to sharpen one another. The Bible says iron sharpeneth iron. It is easy for you to help one another and see where this person has made it and how you can also cross over and be able to make it. So sweetheart, like we said, this is our perfect moment. We need to move. The second aspect I talked about is redefining failure as momentum. And I said failure is not the opposite of success. When we are in primary school, or high school, when you're doing what's an opposite, success, failure, no. I want us to begin to redefine it because that is what our group is about. Is a mental shift to change from what we used to believe that used to weigh us down and begin to redefine things in our mind so that we can move ourselves out of our comfort zone and push ourselves, further to become the women that we have seen, the women that we have visualized that we are going to be. Because we can't just sit on the platform and expect it, to happen. So I said, failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of success. What slows growth is not making mistake. It's stagnation. Now we have, taken the first step, and then we missed it. It didn't go according to plan, and some of us might decide, I'm gonna shrink and scale back. No, that is when you begin to fail. That is when you begin to become, stagnant. You need to rise again and push yourself further. Don't stay in that place. And that's what we say in this community. We cannot afford to be stagnant. There's a lot on our inside that we need to bring out, and this group is just to challenge us to redefine, our mindset and take up, those challenges, push ourselves forward and move. I said, our new definition of failure, failure. So failure is feedback. Momentum is success. Every step counts, which is true. If you go for an interview, you set up yourself out, you take that first bold step, come out of your comfort zone, be bold, take that step, applied for the job, and then they called you for an interview. You went to an interview, you did your best, and it didn't work out as planned. Sweetheart, you ask for the feedback, and the feedback says, oh, you did so well in this area, but in part B, you messed up. Well, they wouldn't say as messed up, but you need to brush on so and so place. You go back and you brush on, and then you give yourself some time, and then you start again. That is it. So, and that is how we win. That is how we win. This is how we win the battle. You just don't sit down. You make that mistake, you go again. You learn again, you move again. And that is how we win. The next one I said, momentum is what activates confidence. It is the reason small step matters. They create spiritual, emotional, and mental motion. So the more you move, the more mistake you made, the more you learn, the more you grow, and the more you become the woman you want to be. So we need to move. Basically, that is it. We just need to move. We just need to take the first step. So I said this week, we're going to track our confidence wins. You're going to look for something that always scares you, something that you're afraid of. They always say, face your fear. So I think this is the part where we begin to do that. Something, that you find so difficult, to do, and give a try to do it. Just give a try to do it. I think I'm talking to myself, I struggle with driving, I love to drive when it's convenient. I struggle to drive at night. So it might be one of the things I need to be doing this week, putting myself, trying obviously with somebody else in the car when I'm driving at night when I don't see properly, and take that bold step. It might be that we've been talking for the past 19 months about pitching your pitch. And some of us, we are still in that dreaming stage. We are still in that visionary stage. We are still, psyching up ourselves. I think, this week should be that week where we just try to take that bold step and go and drop that pitch. We've been talking about changing your job, moving up, in your career. Don't be stagnant. And some of us are still thinking, you're still looking for the perfect job. Sweetheart, just apply for the one that looks same. Even if it's the same position, apply for it. Go out and see what interview feels like. You need to feel what the interview world feels like so that you can, begin to prepare yourself for the bigger fish that you want to catch. You go 5 years without any job interview, you've not had any practice. When you get the bigger fish, how are you going to, make your presentation? Just start somewhere, start somewhere and put yourself forward. So finally, brethren, our reflection prompt, I said, what bold step will you take this week that reflect the woman you're becoming? And how will you celebrate your courage? I want you to remember as we go this week. That faith without movement is potential without manifestation. Even the Bible says it. Faith without work is dead. You can believe it. We have been believing it. We said it last week. If you can think it, you can believe it, you can have it. But sweetheart, you need to move for you to have it. You need to move to build that confidence. You need to move for you to have it. You can pray all the prayers in the Bible. You can attend all all the motivational talk. You can read all the beautiful books. You can read all about how to bake a cake. Sweetheart, if you don't practice it, the cake will never come out. You need to put it into practice. All what you've been reading about, all what you've been talking about, all what you've been aspiring to be, you need to begin to put it into practice. So this week is about building that confidence, and it's about moving, because we are women of great confidence, and our confidence rise as we move. We'll make that bold step, we'll take that bold step, and we will make it. So this Twitter this week, do not shrink, do not draw back, be bold. Take that first step. And at the end of the week, look back and see something different that you did. And see how much confidence you will have built at the end of the week. And it's just a starting point. Even if you want to give it a try. For example, some of us have been trying to go to the gym. Yeah, Christmas is coming. We've been trying to go to the gym. Take the first step by registering, at a gym. Then the second step is for you to attend. You don't need to jump on your first day and, jump on the bicycle, jump on the weightlifting. You can start with a treadmill. And when you become confident, using that treadmill, wow, but clarity comes in. You might want to take the next step of going on the bicycle, or going on, another machine, or even joining the Zumba class, but you need to break, you need to break the barrier. You need to break the barrier and just take that first step. Once you take the first step, the rest will be history. So see you at the top, divas. And this week, like I said, be bold. Take that first step. Love you. Have a lovely week.